What's happening? Brian Tong here, and welcome to the Apple Byte for all the good and bad inside the world of Apple. Now, the big news of the week, the Steve Jobs biography is out on Monday, and it's the closest look into SJ that most of us will ever see. Walter Isaacson has written biographies on Benjamin Franklin and Albert Einstein, and his latest work involved over 40 interviews over the past 2 years with Jobs, and some of them were taped right before his passing. Now, Isaacson sat down with 60 Minutes to talk about the book and how SJ initially refused surgery on his cancer.
And then they do a biopsy, and they're very emotional. They say, this is good. It's one of these very slow-growing 5% of pancreatic cancers that can actually be cured. But Steve Jobs doesn't get operated on right away. He tries to treat it with diet. He goes to spiritualists. He goes to various ways of doing it macrobiotically, and he doesn't get an operation.
Why doesn't he get it operated on immediately?
You know, I've asked him that. He said, I didn't want my body to be opened. I didn't want to be violated in that way. He's regretful about it. And his wife, who's a very solid, decent person, understood it but said, no, the body is there to serve the spirit. You should get this operated on. And soon everybody is telling him, quit trying to treat it with all these roots and vegetables and things. Just get operated on. But he does it 9 months later.
Too late.
Well, one assumes it's too late because by the time they operate on him, they notice that it has spread to the tissues around the pancreas.
How could such a smart man do such a stupid thing?
Yeah, I think that he kind of felt that if you ignore something, if you don't want something to exist, you can have magical thinking. And it had worked for him in the past. He regretted it.
Wow, no, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff from that interview. The full episode airs Sunday night on CBS, but you can check out clips at our sister site, cbsnews.com, where Isaacson discussed how Jobs pledged not to let money change him, and SJ putting the odds at 50-50 that there is a God. Now, earlier in the week, Apple paid tribute to Steve Jobs at Cupertino headquarters, where employees gathered inside the company's courtyard with large pictures of SJ draping some of the buildings, and you can see just how filled it was with some of our own aerial footage, where Apple CEO Tim Cook gave a speech, and musicians Norah Jones, Chris Martin from Coldplay, and Randy Newman performed. Now let's shift over to the Apple product side, and if you doubted how well the iPhone 4S was going to sell, Apple sold over 4 million 4Ss in the first 3 days. Compare that to the iPhone 4, which sold 1.7 million units in that same time a year ago. Now those are just monster numbers. Now you've all seen from last week that I've started creating my own personal bond with Siri. I'll spare you the details, but the Android and Windows Phone big guns have downplayed Siri's threat. At the Asia D conference, Android boss Andy Rubin said that he doesn't believe your phone should be an assistant. Your phone is a tool for communicating. But Andy, what if my phone is the only person that will talk to me? Plus, do you know she talks dirty? Talk dirty to me.
The carpet needs vacuuming.
Get your mind out of the gutter, you sickos, but it was you, the Apple Biters, that really need to get some help, because that was one of the responses you sent me from last week's show. And I would never talk to my phone like that. All right, now one big problem with Siri, though, is its security. The iPhone 4S's default settings lets anyone send emails, text messages, and even make calls with Siri, even if it's passcode locked. Awesome! See, that's a big, nasty, bad Apple. But the good thing, there's a fix that I would highly recommend for you. So go into your settings, then General and Passcode Lock settings, and switch Siri to off. You can still use the feature, but not when your phone is locked like it should have been. All right, plenty of you were able to feel like you received a brand new phone with iOS 5, and one of the most subtle and greatest features included is custom text tones. Not ringtones, but text tones. So we decided to keep the Asian skunk around one more episode with this how-to. Brian Tong here with CNET.com, and one of the new features in iOS 5 allows you to use your custom ringtones as custom text tones, because there's plenty of you that have reached for your phone when it was someone else who received the text message. Loser. So we're going to show you how to do it, and if you've seen our ringtones video, the process is almost exactly the same, but let's refresh your memory. So first off, let's start in iTunes and find a song like this one that I want to turn into a ringtone or text tone. Right-click on the song and select Get Info. A window will appear with track information, and you want to select the Options tab and look for the start time and stop time settings. Click on the boxes next to those settings for now. Now, I know where I want my custom tone to start, so I'll enter in a start time and a stop time. There's a 40 seconds max duration for iTunes custom tones, and if you want to use sound effects or sound bites from your favorite movie, just make sure you have an audio file that's playable in iTunes. Once you've set the time, press OK, then go to Advanced on the main menu bar and select Create AAC Version. iTunes will create the shorter version of your song below the original file. You'll see the duration time, and you want to drag and drop that version onto your desktop to make a copy. Now, there's a little housekeeping we need to take care of first. If the option to create AAC version is not available in iTunes, go to your preferences, and in the General tab, find the section that says When you insert a CD, click on the import settings, and then select Import using AAC encoder. The option should now appear in the menu bar. You also want to go back to the original audio file in iTunes and then check off the start and stop time so that it plays normally from now on. Okay, back to our custom audio file on the desktop. We're going to change the extension name on the file from M4A to M4R. You'll be asked to confirm the changes, and we'll use M4R. Now, for Windows users, you'll need to go to your control panel, then choose Appearance and Personalization, select the folder options, and in the View tab, make sure you've unchecked the box to hide extensions for known file types. That will allow you to see and change the file type. Okay, we're almost there, but before you bring your ringtone back into iTunes, you have to delete the custom version that we initially created, and if you don't do this, iTunes will not accept the ringtone, so this is an important and crucial step. Once you've done that, drag and drop the renamed M4R file into the source column of iTunes, and the word library should highlight. It will copy the file into iTunes, check out the ringtone section, and voila, you have a new ringtone. Plug in your phone into your computer, make sure you set it up to sync the ringtones in the appropriate section, and your custom tones will be synced to your phone. Now, the final step is to take your iOS device, go into your settings, then sounds, and we already know about ringtones, so this time let's go to your text tones, and you'll be able to choose your default sound of choice from the ones you've created, and if you want even more customization, you can go into your contacts and set specific ringtones and text tones for your friends. I'm Brian Tong with your how-to for custom ringtones and text tones for iOS 5. There's no reason for you to pay money when you can do it this way. Hey, Chewbacca just texted me. Use it wisely. That's one of our most requested tips throughout the year, but we also want to know how the battery life is working out for you because it's been a mixed bag since the update. Is it a bad apple? A sweet apple pie? Just let us know. All right, on to the quick bites. It looks like the iTunes Match service is just around the corner, and the Big A did say it would be ready at the end of October. But the music settings in iOS 5 has now gained a toggle for turning iTunes Match on or off, so it's coming soon. Now, Apple likes to talk about its Retina display with a resolution of 326 pixels per inch, and it's really sharp, but Toshiba is taking it to the next level with their 498 pixels per inch 6.1-inch screen display. Now, Apple doesn't have any 6-inch products, but the technology is rapidly advancing. And I've got it, new rumor here, right here on the Apple Byte, the iPad 3 will be a 6-inch tablet with a Super Retina display. And finally, if you're a fan of the iPhone 4's camera, so is the Avengers cinema photographer Seamus McGarvey, who filmed parts of the movie with the iPhone that made it into the final film, and a couple of those shots are also in the movie trailer. See, even I told the production crew here, it's completely legit to shoot a movie with the iPhone.
Foxy Lady, scene 26, take 37.
And action!
Help! Brian, help!
Superpots will save you! And cut. Print it.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's show. Send us your emails to theapplebyte@cnet.com. I'm Brian Tong. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week for another Bite of the Apple.